So Ford, I got your video about the log lines. I gotta be honest, the first thing I thought of was adaptation. This is without a doubt one of my top 10 favorite films of all time. I love how it deconstructs the screenwriting process and just the artistic process in general. The central character is basically a screenwriter and he's trying to figure out how to write this movie, but then you're watching the movie happen. It's super meta. I was thinking how Charlie Kaufman in the movie responds to his fictitious brother Donald Kaufman's ideas about screenwriting. My genre's thrillers, what's yours? This is how loglines sometimes make me feel, just like oversimplification, but I think you're right. I think you can distill stories down to their essential elements, and that's actually helpful because that's how you find the theme. That's how you find the thing that you're really trying to write. Or at least it can be. So here's what I got. 3 log lines. Number 1. 4 refugee boys, taken as tribute by a conquering king, adopt the new culture as their own and rise quickly through the ranks of society with the help of a mysterious divine voice, earning the king's favor. But when given the choice, will they return to their former homeland or stand with their conqueror against a new threat? I'm kind of borrowing that story from somewhere else, but I was thinking I could give it like a new spin, like modern day or like some kind of refugee thing. Number 2. A murder takes place in a small town strip mall, but the subsequent investigation reveals a deep conspiracy. As events prior to and following the murder are relayed from the points of view of various proprietors and employees, we discover what really happened outside the strip mall. Last one. A suicide note predicts the death of a teenage boy or girl, coinciding with a natural disaster on the Gulf Coast. But as we meet a son, a sister, a mother, all in various stages of family crisis, whose stories become increasingly intertwined, we discover who wrote the note and what can happen when children are asked to bear more than they can. I don't like the way that ends. That wasn't a great log line, actually. It sounds depressing. I do have an idea about that for a story. I probably need to work on the logline though. You still owe me an answer to the question about origin stories, so rather than ask another question here, I'm just going to make a recommendation for you and the other pen pals. To be honest, you might have actually recommended this to me a long time ago. I don't know how I heard of this, but somebody had recommended it to me. Sorry, I forgot you. Indie Game the Movie. This documentary was excellent. It follows several indie game developers through various stages of the creation process, up to the release of their games. You do not have to be a gamer to appreciate this movie, okay? But if you are, there's like an extra layer of appreciation built into it for you. But it's really just about art and the artists who make art. What's going through their heads and how do they react when the work is criticized or praised? It's everything we've been talking about since we started this Pen Pals conversation. And I love how the movie is shot and cut together. There's a real sense of character development that happens through the editing, and that's something that you don't always get in a documentary, even a good one. And even just how they use the architecture and the weather and the establishing location shots. It's so beautiful and it communicates so much. It's an artistic documentary about the artistic process. It's super watchable. There's some language which some people might be sensitive to, but other than that, I give this incredibly high recommendations. I realize I'm gushing here, okay, but I love this movie. It's the best documentary I've seen in a long time. Netflix it. Check out Ford's log lines over here. Let them know what you think about those stories. Put your own log lines in the comments. Also, if you've seen Indie Game, you need to comment about that so we can get more people to watch. That movie is so good.
Also, leave some recommendations of your own. Forgot to mention that when I was recording.
You can check out the continuing conversation right here. Thanks for watching.